let's get started. Or do you want to wait a bit more or? No? Okay. So, my name is Cyprian Hackman. Today I'll be your moderator, facilitator. This is etcd operator working group meeting bi-weekly. So we will get started with our regular schedule. Cool. So thanks everyone for joining. Do we have any announcements to share with everyone?
Did you want to share the Google Doc, Cyprian?
You mean okay, let me share it in chat for people to add themselves to the attendee list.
Cool. And maybe just bring up screen share maybe as well, so we can see it in the recording and see what we're going through.
Okay, give me a second. Okay, so sharing my screen. So any announcements, or we can move to the agenda? Well, meeting new people if there are and want to introduce themselves. You want to introduce yourself, Abdur?
Yes. Hello, everyone. My name is Abdurrahman. I discovered about this working group about a week back. I work at a startup. I am interested in contributing, and yeah, good to be working.
Cool. Thank you. Nice to have you here. Is there anyone else or okay, not? Let's move on to the agenda. So James, Justin, and I were at KubeCon. James did most of the heavy lifting for etcd. So do you have any updates for us?
Yeah, team, it was a pretty good conference for the project. For the working group specifically, I've just added a link to our maintainer track recording into the Google Doc. So there's about a 5-10 minute segment roughly in that recording where I talked through like introducing the working group, going through the leads, going through the scope, going through the survey results, and going through the initial roadmap and next steps. So just really high level, but making sure everyone in the audience knew that it was happening and could get involved. And we had around 75, 80 odd people in the audience. I think it was a pretty good number. So that was really cool. So check that out. The other thing we need to have a bit of a chat about is I spent a fair bit of time at the etcd booth. And after that session, I had some really good conversations with two key folks. So Ahmet Balkan from LinkedIn, Microsoft, and they're maintaining an internal etcd operator currently. They're pretty excited about getting involved in a community effort and kind of alleviating the maintenance burden of doing their own thing. And essentially the same conversation all over again with Shreyas and a couple other folks from Gardner etcd Druid team. So it was actually, stars kind of aligned there, and we had some really good chats at the booth. So I think when we get a little bit further along, perhaps we can reach back out to those folks and go try and re-invite them to the operator working group, which I did during those chats. But also, if we have maybe some good first issues or like help wanted things in the repository itself, we could just ping them there and go, hey team, we had these really great chats at KubeCon. These are some things we're about to start with. Are you keen to give us a hand? So that was really positive. It would be awesome to bring them on board as well. That's my quick update, team. Ciprian and Justin, what did you guys think?
James, do you have any details to share for you have conversation with the gardener and probably some other LCD operator maintainer? Do you have any details to share?
Not a whole lot of detail. I mean, for Amit from the LinkedIn team, he actually jumped onto the TV at the booth with his laptop and did a walkthrough of their internal operator, just having a quick look at the CRD spec and roughly how that operator worked. Obviously, I couldn't take any of that and go and share it because it is an internal project, but he did give us a preview of it. For the discussions with the Gardener Etsy Druid folks, initially that was with Shreyas, and I've linked both Amit and Shreyas's GitHub profile in the Google Doc there, so people can reach out to them if they want to. But Shreyas's manager actually came over as well and was like really enthusiastic about getting involved in the community effort and getting the rest of Shreyas's wider team involved as well. So it was like a really positive chat. And I think as a next step, we should take an action maybe in this meeting for me or someone else just to reach back out to the two of them and go, hey team, we just had our post KubeCon debrief working group meeting. We've just merge this change to or whatever, or just try and get a next step organized. So feel free to take an action point for me to reach back out to them. I can do that on Kubernetes Slack probably.
Okay, cool. Thank you. Cool.
One quick question.
Justin?
I think I understand the Gardener use case. Sorry, just the LinkedIn use case. Are they using etcd for applications or for Kubernetes clusters? Do we know?
We didn't get too far into that. It's set up in a way that it would be like workload on top of cluster versus anything like static pods, like for Kubernetes cluster itself. So I get the feeling it was application level, but we didn't get too far into that.
Yeah, cool. Just because I was something which occurred to me is there are a bunch of features in etcd that are not using Kubernetes, and I was sort of wondering, when you saw that schema, were you seeing like user authentication type things and all that sort of stuff, or like is it likely overlap with the sort of what I would call MVP feature set that we're targeting?
They definitely have a lot of crossover with things that we have in our basic initial roadmap. They're doing stuff with TLS, they're doing stuff with scaling in and out. So were the Gardener folks, to be fair. And we had a quick look at the operator evaluation with the Gardener folks as well, and they kind of agreed with pretty much what we've got set up in there. When I looked at the API spec for the LinkedIn operator, there's a lot of crossover. The thing I kind of said to Amit was, would there be a willingness to, internally within LinkedIn to gradually phase out and transition off their current, API and adopt the new operator, and there apparently was. So that's really positive. Obviously, there's complexity in there, and migrating from one, basically doing a hard breaking API change. But if they're doing it progressively, that's cool.
Justin, do you still have something to say, or?
I was going to. That sounds very positive and excellent. I was going to give an update on, I guess, what Ciprian and I we sort of had our cluster lifecycle hats on more, so we saw some of that, particularly with cluster API. Right? Do you want to talk about that, Ciprian, or?
Oh, please do if you want.
So, I mean, we the cluster API people are likely also eventually users of etcd operator. From the sounds of things, they aren't doing anything particularly sophisticated in how they run etcd today. And it could be interesting to, they were talking about some of the problems that they feel they have with etcd in terms of HA clusters. They reported some things which honestly I hadn't heard before, like, being very careful about how you shut down the leader, for example, in etcd, which I don't know how true that is. But anyway, like, it does feel like they aren't doing anything really with etcd today, or beyond kubeadm, and they probably would be interested in doing, rather than doing a better job by doing it themselves, like leveraging etcd operator to do a more thorough job. So that felt like another avenue. And then Cyprian and I also gave a sort of maintainer track session, talking to a bunch of people about what they would like to see from bare metal support and what that would mean. And it isn't obviously directly related to the etcd operator, because it isn't, that it probably isn't going to use the etcd operator, but the discussion did seem to converge on the idea of, a very static configuration with fixed IP addresses, which will likely end up similar to what we will end up with in the etcd operator configuration. So I think that's also positive news, in that there is potential for code sharing or logic sharing at that sort of, or certainly operations sharing, like, how we're going to do things is going to look very similar there. So I'm optimistic that we can also have some collaboration there.
Yeah. Only, the etcd operator, we only support the application, not the Kubernetes. But the only possibility the etcd operator can integrate with the cluster API. The only use case is we can run etcd as an external cluster to integrate with the Kubernetes. It's only use case, right?
Yeah, this is the exact use case for Cluster API. Cluster API requires a control plane already to work. So whether they bootstrap via kubeadm, or they have etcd operator create the etcd clusters for them, I think it should be very similar. Plus, the etcd operator should be more stable, or allow for more failure to happen.
Okay, sorry. Yeah, from the etcd operator perspective, there's no difference between supporting application and support Kubernetes as external use case. There's no difference from etcd operator perspective.
Yep.
Yeah.
So I think it should be very nice if we can talk with them at some point and see if we can get integration later or sooner. I don't know. Okay. Anyone else? Any other feedback from KubeCon? Okay, if not, I think latest progress of etcd operator. Benjamin, you did the hard work. So please.
It's already a long time before we kick off the working group meeting. There's very little progress. So there's only one way. There are two big programs. First program, we already created a scaffold. So use the KubeBuilder to create the API to build the initial repository stuff. And second, can you open the PR and take a quick look? Can you open the link? Somewhere?
Okay, let me try and open it.
Yeah, you can see I provide the detailed steps how I created the scaffold. It's super. I think anyone can reproduce this step in your environment. It's super clear. It's simple. Just use KubeBuilder to generate everything. So there are 6 steps. The first step, you use KubeBuild init to create initial the stuff, whatever the directory layout. The second step, we have already README, so we don't want the generate README to overwrite the README. We just merge the two README. The third step, we create the API. We use the KubeBuild create API, the command to generate the API. But the only issue is we use the group, is cluster use the group. So in the second in the next PR, I changed group from the cluster to operator. Yeah, I changed group. Yeah. Can you go back to the first PR? Yeah, go back to the first PR.
Yeah, give me a second. I have to. Okay, yeah.
Yeah,
Cool.
the first step is manually add two fields into the actually cluster status. I'm sorry, not status in the spec. So not status is a typo. Add two fields into the actually cluster spec, just size and version, and remove the default one. F00, remove that field. And then in the step 5 is regenerate the manifest. Just make manifest. It's simple. In the last step is to verify everything is working in the Kubernetes cluster. Just make install, make run. Just very simple. Okay, yeah, I believe everyone can reproduce this step in your environments. So it's pretty simple. So I expect, so in the following developments, I expect everyone to follow the same pattern to provide enough context for others to reproduce what you did. So others can reproduce what you did in the environment to verify. So otherwise, if this PR is huge PR is more than 1,000 change, it's very hard to verify to others to review the change. So you need to provide the details how you made each change. The commit by commit. Okay, yeah, this is the first PR. The second PR is just to change the group from cluster to operator. I think it's really straightforward. I just redo the steps and the first PR. Just override whatever they generated. In the second PR, when I change the group from the cluster to operator, I just redo the same steps as the first PR, and then overwrite all the generated stuff into the repository. Yeah, this is the progress.
So yeah, it's not like we're moving very fast for now, but once we get this right, I think it will be much easier to start doing the next things. Bootstrap a cluster, delete a cluster. Mostly what we have documented as a minimum viable product. So nice progress. And yeah, I think we have a good start here. Do you want to share anything here, or can I close the PRs?
Yeah, you can close. Yeah, it's just quick update.
Yeah, just one quick thing. I was supposed to help Benjamin writing some initial reconciliation loop, but life gets in the way. Didn't have a chance to help, so hopefully I will be able to move and help you guys more.
Yeah,
more.
Sure. Yeah.
No worries. Okay. Someone's writing. You're writing something else about the KubeCon. You're writing about KubeCon 2025 in London.
Yeah, it's me.
The maintainer track discussion that we had in chat earlier this week.
Yeah. I plan to release, we released LTD 3.5.0 almost 5.5 years ago. It's a long time. So So we are planning to release LTD 3.6.0 before the KubeCon London, and also release LTD operator 0.1.0 before the KubeCon London as well. So I think we are going to announce the 2 big release in the event. You know, in big challenges. Yeah, so we need help from the community to help us get it out. So in the first step, I would like to figure out who are going to the KubeCon London 2025.
Sorry. Hey. I'll be there for sure.
Yeah, okay, okay, go.
So at this stage, I think I mentioned in the other chat, Benjamin, I won't be in London, but I will be in Tokyo in June.
Okay.
Okay.
Anyone
Are you
else?
also?
Yeah, please write down your name in the list if anyone wants to go to the KubeCon London.
Yeah, I'll take a look, see if I can go as well.
Team, I'll just quickly mention we do have a question from Gaurav in chat, who's someone that's got experience with KubeBuilder and is looking for a task to pick up. So maybe once we finish with this topic, if we have time, we could just quickly bring up the roadmap and just show sort of where the next things are that we'll be working on. In case Gaurav is keen to help with those, yeah.
Yeah, no problem. Yeah. Justin and Simon. James will not go to London, right? James will not. Arca is tentative. Okay. Brad, are you going to go to London?
I would have to double check because I just checked it. It actually falls on my daughter's birthday, so it's gonna be a tough sell. We'll see.
Okay. You know, we have, you know, I'm planning to, you know, we will roughly have at most 5 speakers. Roughly, I think we should have 2 or 3 speakers for LTD 3.6.0 and probably 1 or 2 speakers for LTD operator. This is rough estimation. So we will, so you know, we will have to submit the maintenance track session before 3rd December. The next probably 1 week later, we have to submit the maintenance track session. We have got finalized all the name list and the maintenance track session. Yeah, we have to get that finalized in probably next week.
Okay.
Okay.
So I guess
next Tuesday is the deadline.
Next week is the deadline for maintainer track. I thought it's much further into the future.
Is it the colos that are on the 4th?
Yeah, the colos are December 4th. I thought that maintainer track is more like, I don't know, February. Let's check and discuss separately. See which is the deadline and yeah, we need to.
I've just put the dates into chat, team. So maintainer track closes on the 11th of December.
Okay.
11.
Cool.
Okay. 11 December, right? Maintain track.
Okay, 11th of December. This means that.
Oh no. Hey, sorry. For what? What's the deadline for the maintain track? Maintain 11 December is the deadline to submit kiosk and not maintain track.
Yeah, if you look at the table and the link that I put in,
Oh,
it
yeah,
says
yeah, yeah.
Maintainer Track plus ContraFest plus Project Lightning Talks. The CFP
Oh.
closes Wednesday, the 11th of December.
Okay, good, good. We have more time. Okay, cool.
So it's the day after the next meeting.
Yeah,
What?
yes.
And also, I think that would be our last meeting of the year, because the next one it's on the 24th, which is Christmas Eve. So
Yeah, let's maybe press pause on that one, team. Yep.
Yeah. Okay, anyway, we need 1 or 2 speakers for the attitude operator. Yeah. Yeah, please,
Okay.
anyone get the feedback if you want to be a speaker. We need to get the finalized before our next meeting.
Okay, let's take this offline, decide what
Okay.
we want to speak and something like that, and finalize the list. I don't think that will be a problem.
Okay.
By the way, we also have Maintainer Summit in London, or how it's called right now. So not sure if we want participation there also.
Yeah. Maintainer Summit is 31st March, right? 31st March.
Yeah, that's much later because it needs to be after the announcements about talks are finalized. So people usually go to Maintainer Summit only if they have a ticket for KubeCon. And no one knows, well, maintainers usually don't know if they have a ticket until the talks are announced.
Just to share one change that was announced. If you get a session submitted and accepted for Maintainer Summit, you will get a full pass for the main event. So, consider submitting to both for like a etcd operator working group kind of session. Yeah, obviously Maintainer Track, is kind of guaranteed acceptance within some guidelines, but it may make sense to also submit a dedicated operator working group, group session for the Maintainer Summit.
Okay, sounds like a good plan. Let's figure this out offline, see what we want to apply for, and ideally do
Okay,
it.
So we have, yeah, I thought about this. We can submit 2 maintainer track sessions, one for attitude, one for attitude operator. But obviously we don't have much we don't have much stuff to share for the attitude operator. So that's the reason why I combined the attitude and attitude operator in one maintainer track session. But I don't, but I'm not object to submit another one for attitude operator separately.
I think we're good. I don't think we will have anything, any breakthrough until then. So collocating etcd and etcd operator should be probably a good idea. Okay, anyone else? Any thoughts about KubeCon London, or we can move to V010 zero plan?
Hold on 1 second. So what's the action? So we have 2 actions. Is why the first action we need to finalize. We need to figure out the speaker for actually the operator, right? Figure out the speaker.
Okay.
We
Or
need to
maintainer track.
one or 2. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. We also need to, decide whether or not we should submit 2 maintainer track sessions or just 1.
Okay.
Yeah, there are two options. I think the first option we can just submit one, including both LCD and the LCD operator.
Yeah.
The second
Mhm.
option is we can submit a maintenance section for both LCD and operator. And separate, we can also submit a separate section for LCD operator in case other one is not accepted.
Okay. Let's discuss this separately. I don't think we will get an answer right now.
Well, I want-
I would add the maintainer summit there. Like if we want to submit something for maintainers. Justin, do you have anything to add?
Yeah, I wanted to. I think we should probably sort of think of the audience. As far as I know, the etcd audience is different from the etcd operator audience. Like I mean, they're probably the same people, but like they're thinking about different things, right? Like one of them is thinking about, you know, B trees and persistence and all this stuff, and the other one is thinking about stateful sets or not stateful sets. And so, from that perspective, I feel like we could easily justify 2 talks and see what gets accepted, type thing.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah, makes sense. Okay.
Cool. 010 plan.
Okay.
We're a bit over the half of the meeting.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, just mentioned just now, we are planning to release 0.1 before the KubeCon London 2025. So there are two main areas we need to finish before the event. The first one is the reconciliation workflow. For example, create a cluster of 3 members, or scale out a cluster from 1 member to 3 members, or from 3 to 5, or scale in from 5 members to 3 members, or from 3 to 1. Scale in, scale out, create new cluster, something like that. We need to finish that. This is the second big area is for the certificate management. We need to support certificates, otherwise it doesn't make sense. Nobody will deploy a solution that doesn't support certificate in cloud, in production environments. So it's super important. So the high-level goal is to make sure the 0.1, the user can deploy this in their development environment for evaluation, or even in production environment for anyone, for any trial, something like that. This is the high-level thought. As far as I know, the Arca is interested in the certificate management. Arca, do you have any update on the certificate management?
Yeah, so basically, like I'm actually going through the design, like so I think I'll be able to come up with the design offline as well. But by the next meeting, I should be able to come up with kind of a walkthrough on what the design flow can look like.
Okay.
Mhm.
Yeah, my high-level thoughts, we don't have to be, the design don't have to be perfect. When you have something to talk about, if it's bad, you have some demo to show your thoughts. So we follow the agile perspective. We follow the agile workflow to development the 0.1. So just make sure you have some demo to share in each meeting.
Sure. Yep. Definitely.
Okay, the next one, the big one is reconciliation. Reconciliation. Yeah, we have design doc. Probably you can open that design doc. Give me 1-2 seconds. Yeah, let me paste the link in the agenda. Yeah, I paste the link in the. Yeah, the diagram is actually is a little bit complicated, but can you scroll down? Can scroll down? See the diagram? This diagram. The diagram is a little complicated, but the high level thought is simple. There are, we use just to mention in the first version we use the stateful set to manage the LCD port. instead of customized port controller. In the future, if we in the future, possibly we might migrate from this data set to customized port controller if we want the advanced control on the etcd port. But for now, this etcd% is good enough. And the high level there are 1, 2, 3. High level there are 5 stages of the reconciliation workflow. The first step is bootstrap state set. If this data set is not available yet, we just create an empty data set with the replica is 0. Create a data set. Yeah. The second step is health check. If the cluster is not healthy, we do nothing. The healthy cluster is a precondition before we do anything. Yeah, the health check. The third step is to exception handling. The workflow is a generic workflow, which means each time when we run the reconciliation workflow, we follow the exact same steps, same workflow, but never we run the reconciliation. So which means if the previous one somehow existed, abnormal existed, didn't finish their job, we just fix the left work before we move on. So it's high-level exception handling. And promote lender, the fourth is promote lender. Each time when we add a new member, we add it as a lender in fourth step. Add a lender. We never add a voting member directly, because adding member directly is dangerous. For example, if we add one member, it's only one member cluster. If you add another member as voting, if the other member didn't get started, then you take a whole cluster down. So it's really dangerous. So we add a lender at first, and then promote the lender to the voting in the next step. But if the cluster is 0, there's nothing in the cluster. In the very first one, we have to add it as a voting. This is the only exception to add a voting member. Otherwise, all other new member add as lender. So the final step is scaling out. The thought is, when we create a new cluster, for example, 3 cluster member, we just in the first step we create a 1 member cluster, and add the second one, and then add the third one, just step by step. So actually, it's a scale out process. Add 1 member, and then scale out the cluster from 1 to 3. So this is the reason why we always need to scale out the logic in the reconciliation workflow. But this is just my personal high-level thoughts. Well, I already have some demo in. Let me paste one. Give me 2 seconds. Yeah, so 1 second. This demo. Yeah, I sent the demo. I sent the demo in the chat. Yeah. Okay, open the. I sent it in the chat. Yes. Yeah, I did the demo right after the KubeCon Paris. Yeah, just because we covered it to the demo. The controller.go is the main file, the main implementation. Controller.go. Yeah, the line 236, this function, the method is the main method, sync handler. Yeah, sync handler. Yeah, actually, I think the high-level implementation is straightforward, which you can just follow the comment in, for example, follow the comments. You can just compare the source code implementation and the reconciliation diagram to compare the comment of the diagram. I think it's straightforward. It's 2% clear. But this is just my high-level thought. You don't have to be exact follow the same implementation, the same diagram. So anyway, we need some, I don't have enough bandwidth to do everything myself. So I will definitely need help from the community. So please, anyone feel free to reach out if you are interested to break down the design or break down the high-level design. It's just about high-level design. If you see the source code, there's a lot of to-do list. I didn't do anything. Do you have any comments on the high-level workflow?
No, not really. I just have a question. I didn't check the codes, but it seems like you're not using the KubeBuilder framework. Am I right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Just
Yeah,
using the
you're right.
controller runtime directly. Okay.
Yeah. I just copy the Kubernetes sample controller. I just copy that. Then give me one second. Let me send the link to the. Give me 1 second. Give me 2 seconds. Sorry. Sample controller. Oh yeah. Let me copy. Yeah, let me send it in the chat. Yeah, send it in the chat. I just copy the Kubernetes sample controller and then update content.
I see.
So we don't, the high level, the key point is to share the thought on the reconciliation workflow, because the reconciliation workflow should be generic. It should have nothing to do with the tool, the framework.
Okay. Okay, no worries. That's cool.
Yeah, we need some contributor to help us to continue working the reconciliation workflow.
Would now be a good time to start thinking about issues in the operator repository? Like at what point do we want to start creating, contained pieces of scope that we can assign out to folks that are interested in contributing?
Yeah, I agree. But even that also needs some effort, also needs some consensus. We need to, it's not super clear how to break down the efforts for now. So we need to discuss how to break down the high level task. But high level, there are 2 areas need help. The first one is reconciliation. The second one is certificates. Arca is going to help on the certificates. So we need other people to help on the reconciliation workflow. I think the Fred is interested in the, and also I see.
Justin?
Sorry, I was just gonna. One suggestion could be to just merge something, right? Like, I think this particular, we should discuss whether controller runtime or not is a problem. But otherwise, I would say, like, let's just merge this and fix the stuff, right? Like, it's not like we'll put a big old marker saying don't run this in production under any circumstances. Like, we will be making changes, and then we can like address it. Like, it's the value of like, like if you want an answer to a question, like post the wrong answer on the internet, right? Like, let's put something up that we know is wrong or not complete, and then we'll get everyone being like, oh, I can make this better type thing. Whereas like to go from 0 to 1, otherwise it's very hard.
Yeah.
Just on the KubeBuilder controller runtime thing, both the LinkedIn folks and the Gartner folks are using KubeBuilder, so that we should definitely kind of head in that direction.
Yeah.
I completely agree with Justin's thoughts around just start, break some stuff, merge some stuff, and iterate. Yeah,
I agree. Yeah, I would like to see some demo in each meeting.
Yeah, some demo in some meeting would be really cool. Maybe next meeting.
I mean, if you want, I could take your code and controller runtime it.
Oh, really?
Go from there.
Okay.
Yeah, I'd be happy to do that.
So wait a
So-
second. You guys are gonna merge, get the code from the using controller runtime that he showed and merge into master, or you guys are gonna merge the specs that he generated with KubeBuilder? Which ones are actually going?
Well, I'll immediately say I don't think we're going to merge anything to master. It would only be a PR,
Okay.
right? And then we're not going to push it. I mean, yes, eventually it'll get into master. But what I was volunteering was I will take the that code that we have and convert it so that it uses controller runtime and send a PR with that so that we can discuss it.
Okay. The other way around. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I agree. Like with what I think the implication was, like the majority of contributors I think use controller runtime in the ecosystem, and so we don't want to pick that fight the wrong way around, as it were.
But isn't
Controller
KubeBuilder
runtime or
actually
KubeBuilder?
controller runtime as well behind the scenes? Not behind the
Yes,
scenes, it
but
does, yeah.
it looked like this wasn't using controller runtime, right, Benjamin?
sorry, can you say that again?
It looks like the one you shared, HRTR etcd operator, does not use controller runtime. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's correct. I just copy the Kubernetes sample controller, copy that wrapper, and then update anything manually.
Right. I just think that's an unusual decision, right? So I would suggest.
Yeah. But I believe the reconciliation workflow should have no difference. Should be generic workflow.
Yeah, exactly. I don't think it's going to be a lot of work to convert it. It's just.
So this is just
Oh, I see.
Okay.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, can we figure out the action owner for each action item? So
Sure,
what
you can
the
put me at maintainer summit,
maintains? Okay, this one. Second.
or I'll put myself. It's not a problem.
The second one. The second one.
I can take all
Okay.
three.
Okay.
Or whatever. These two, and we discuss between the two of us. I'll take these two, you take the one with figure out 1-2 speaker, how to do it, and we discuss between each other.
Okay. Yeah, sure.
So we have people for action items. Open discussions. Anyone wants to say something, wants to add something before we adjourn for the day?
Nope. I'm good.
Okay, so if no one wants to add anything, I think it was a very good meeting. Nice seeing everybody, and good work. Looking forward to see you again in a few weeks.
All right. Thanks.
Bye,
Awesome.
everyone.
Thanks, team. See ya.